Hi. I've started a line and wash here. I'll complete it on film. I'm just going through some archive stuff here. Picture I did many years ago, oil painting of a walk I did in Essex near the Colne River, Wivenhoe. Very cold day. I've still got that one on the wall somewhere. This little watercolour, if you can see that. Just ones I've just grabbed out of the drawer. This is based on a watercolour by Edward Seago. I'll see if I just zoom in a little bit more on that one. I've done it as a demo, but only as a rough copy. But I love the view, and good old Seago for actually doing it. This was a Venice painting that I did in 2000. I did a lot of Venice in that year, or 99, 2000. It's a composite, really. It's not exactly Venice, but a great exercise. I did about 100 of them that year, but they were taking a couple of days at least to do. Right, let's zoom out. I'm just making this one up. I'm not copying anything. It's based on my Mitcham Common lake. So a nice cup of tea here. There's some trees going up in the 7 islands, but I'm just putting in some sandy type of banks with grasses sticking up. Winter scene. I love winter. When you're using black ink, I use a separate water container to clean the ink. Otherwise, you're going to end up with your painting water black. So I'm just working at it just for a while I get some sort of design. Nice lot of. I'll thicken these up. A great artist with ink was Edward Wesson. Doing this sort of stuff. But I'm using the Bockingford, quite a rough paper, but you get a better hit and miss with it. And these spindly trees, but I'm going to thicken all that up and make that a nice and bit of growth of ivy, whatever, going up the branches. I'm using a rigger here, and the paper itself is 140 pounds weight, cold pressed. Branches, twigs, all sorts of stuff coming up here just to make a painting, really. And we'll balance it here with it's all very rough. More hit and miss you get, the better. Lots of spidery trees in here. That's just as a foil for that side. And you can use water with your brush if you wish, just to thin it out a bit. It's an acrylic ink, I'm sure. This one doesn't say, because it's the old-fashioned Stevens black ink, black drawing ink, Indian ink, shake gently, fade resistant. So, just this is much smoother than the Fabriano, and we'll just show that coming down there. Bit of water. So I'm using the edge of the rigger just to drag up, just get lovely effects of, and then the horizon's coming over here. I'm not really gonna, just to remind me where it is really. Just going out across here, and some more distant trees coming up there. And then on here we just show some trees at the far bank. See, by the time I put the paint on, this sort of it loses its contrast between the black and white. It evens out a bit, so we just. So that's all we really need to do. Just show the reflections coming down there. Okay, that'll do. We'll just let that come down there. More detail in the foreground here, but only just hinted at. I'll sign that when I've got a chance. Right, that'll do. Right, I'll give this a bit of a dry. So, earphones off, ready, go. Don't put your earphones on. I'm still just trying to dry. So we dry. Right, there we go. I'm going to alter this, the height of this. So I want it to be a bit flatter. These are really good easels. This is a good quality one. I will alter the camera. I don't want the board to be so upright. Right, let's bring you over again. Sorry about knocking about in the rough ride. Well, here we are. That'll do there. Right, I'm using the 2-inch Hague, probably a bit of the mop to do the canopies of the trees. First thing we do is to have a swig of the tea. And wet the paper all over. Wet in wet. I do prefer the Fabriano, I think, for this type of wet in wet, but the drawing on this paper is so much better because of the hit and miss. That seems to be right. Okay, right. Raw sienna. What you put in the sky, put it in the water. I do like burnt sienna to clean my palette. I'm using, for those that are not familiar, I'm using lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson if I bother, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey and the burnt sienna, but I don't use them all. So dramatic sky, so good. Stephen Cronin does a lot of this using darker paints. On the sides, it gives you a central area of light. But you can lift out with a tissue, but I tend to leave it alone. I like the effect, but it's a personal thing. Well, that's supposed to be showing that cloud going across there, so let's just soften that a bit, bring that over there. Right, and we can just more bit of, so that burnt sienna, we can just replicate that in the water there. Right, okay, let it go. I'll reclip the paper. And you see that I missed that, but I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to dry. Earphones off. Okay, now with me, I've got all these brushes stuck in my box here. I've got number 12, number 10, sable mixes or synthetic sable mix, nice rigger, lovely long rigger, and a number 6 nylon. I don't use them all. They're just there. So let's put in the canopy. I'll use my mop. The mop is not my favourite brush, the Hake is, but it does things. I'm persevering with it. Now I'm going to use burnt sienna and Payne's grey for the canopies of these trees in the foreground, and that will give a bit of movement. Let's go a bit heavier. Great contrast. Brush holds an enormous amount. It's like the Hake, it holds a huge amount of water. And we'll put some in here. And I'll put some branches in that. Right. Now I'll do the sky colours on the background. Put plenty of blue, maybe a bit of alizarin in there. Warm it up a little bit. Right, that's me mixing. Just the background. Just paint the reflections in there. Okay, and we can put a little bit of warm in there. Just right. Right, while that's doing that, let's go in with the rigger, Payne's grey, burnt sienna, quite a bit of water on the rigger, and we can start doing. I can use some blue as well, blue sienna. Might be just a little bit too rough the paper for the rigger, but now with another brush, I'll mix a bit of green. I think a bit of Payne's grey, burnt sienna, lemon yellow. Not messy palette, but it's just like a huge watercolour box. Keep it warm colour. That's not water, that's landscape there, so dark. Go over my name. Sort of a shadow. Water there. Try to do this as quick as possible. Right, for the rigger. It's a bit nippy today, there's a lot of rain. It's supposed to be brightening up a bit. Right, nice and rough. Okay. Right, we'll put a mount on that and see what we've done. Probably I could just put those, that down there. Probably need to just show that bank a little bit more, put a bit of burnt sienna and raw sienna just mixed. Just, there's like a beach across here. Right, okay. Let's zoom in, have a look. Oh, there we are, that's the distance. Very simple. It's the drawing that is the thing. A lot of stuff going on in this area here. It leaves a lot for the viewer, the imagination to put in. I've only just given the boat. I think that's got a little bit heavier than I'd hoped. So that probably because I'm not really used to using the mop. But it's still a lovely brush for that sort of thing. But I'd probably a bit too much water on that. But as I say, it takes a lot of getting used to it, as does the hake. But they're worth persevering with because you can get a very lovely impressionist feel with your paintings. And really, I just like doing this. It's what I am: skies and trees and reflections. That was my main motivation for painting. All the Venice stuff that came because I could do it in a fashion, and it was commercially viable. These I just enjoy doing them. So I hope you do. Have a go and see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.